So this case represents the entire spectrum of 19th century dolls, from a very simple handmade doll to probably the most expensive doll in our collection. She is a German-made flat top doll. She dates to approximately the 1840s, and she would have been an import into the United States. She's made of hand-painted bisque, and her hair is actually molded into the doll's head and then hand-painted. And the work on her face is actually quite delicate. The face, arms, and lower legs are all made of bisque, and I'd like to point out that she does have her feet intact, which anybody who's ever played with bisque dolls knows that's a bit unusual. Her outfit is a replica that was made sometime in the 1950s or 1960s by a woman who owned a doll museum in Florence, the Dollyware Museum, which closed a few years ago. And we were lucky enough to get this doll from a local collector who purchased it when that museum went out of business. So it's got a kind of interesting representation of a very high-end German-made porcelain doll wearing a sort of mid-century interpretation of 19th century clothing. A doll of this type would cost approximately 10% of the average worker's monthly salary in 1840. So these pieces were a very special gift, and often the girls that they were given to were only allowed to play with them under very strict supervision. These dolls also came with entire wardrobes that could either be purchased all at once with the doll or purchased over time. Often families would also either teach the girls to sew by making clothing for their dolls, or sometimes they would even pay people to make doll clothing. There are a number of stories of women who made their living either making dolls or sewing clothing for the dolls. This particular doll has a leather body that is also a replacement done sometime in the mid-20th century.